saying, congratulations on this EP. We've been playing the singles on our show as they've been coming out, and now everybody is so excited about the EP, and I've had a chance to have a listen to it, so congratulations.
Awesome, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
So, mate, tell us a little bit about the last 12 months for you guys, because it seems like it's been a pretty dizzy ride. The 3 singles have been so well received. What's the last 12 months been like?
Interesting. We finished wrapping up recording around this time last year, and we were going to wait till like now to even do anything with it for whatever reason. And our producer at the time was like, "That's stupid. Do it sooner." So we like had to pull up a million ideas that were kind of being worked on and just pump it out as quick as possible. That's more or less been the band front. The only other thing is learning how to play with clicks so we can get backing tracks for all the new songs, which is proving interesting when you've never used them before. Kind of throws you the first couple of run-throughs. But yeah, it's coming along nicely.
So, man, how do you feel now that the whole EP is about to come out for your fans and for the public? How do you feel? Are you nervous or excited?
Bit of both. Like, as you were saying, like, all the songs, you know, the comments made are always really, really good. But it's always that, like, nervous moment of, you know, you're looking at numbers, you're like, is it going to do well there? It's all great if one person says it's amazing, but if it's just the one person, it's like, no. But we're excited, we're really proud of the songs, and we reckon it'll do really well, and we're really keen to be able to, you know, show everyone instead of hiding them away on our computers.
Definitely. And one of the things that's really hit me with the 3 tracks that we've heard, and of course now listening to the EP as well, every track has its own identity. There's so many albums that come out these days where you have a listen and the music all kind of meld into each other. But with yours, every song has its own identity and its own feeling. Is that something that you guys were really aware of when you were recording?
We are painfully aware we do that. And it's often discussed between my lead guitarist and myself, where we're like, should we do the consistent album where it's very cohesive, you know, you have your standout songs, it kind of starts to blend a bit, or do we just keep going, hey, here's a cool riff I wrote, and then try and work it into our sound? And yeah, we always end up just falling back on that because we'll write something so left of field and we'll try and Grizzlyshark it. I guess we like the challenge.
You guys are also not afraid to write tracks about really serious topics. We saw, of course, a track about ADHD, and of course we saw the darker side of the band with the last single as well. Were there certain themes that you guys wanted to explore with this EP?
It kind of changed, like, depending on my mood. Just being the writer with ADHD, it was very, either I'm like in a mindset where I'm like, yeah, I want to write something really serious, or I'm in a flippant mood where I'm really manic. I'm like, let's write about something, you know, that's close to me, but write it really lightheartedly. But definitely wanted to touch on certain themes, like the last one with the absent parents and stuff has been one I've been flirting for ages. I've been looking for the right music to pop up to write that to.
And have you been getting a lot of people reaching out to you guys and saying, hey, I listened to this track and I've been through that? Have you had that happen so far?
We've had like a handful of people, not many that relate to it, but people that, you know, express sympathy for having seen it themselves. So like, hey, you know, I've seen this too. It's pretty wild. Or people that just are amazed that, you know, with their lives and their situation, that it could be like that for someone else. Which is always like, you know, an eye-opening experience, realizing, you know, maybe just how good you have it in some areas.
Yeah. I was going to ask that. What does that mean to you as a musician when people listen to one of your tracks and they can relate to what you're talking about in the song?
I mean, for some of them, it's kind of, you know, concerning if they can relate to, like, some of the darker themes. It's like, you know, I hope you're okay, but just to be able to relate in a way where, you know, you're sympathizing, you understand, or you've seen it, it's, you know, it's kind of cool, like, you know, to have people be like, yeah, I understand that. I really like these lyrics. It means something to me. Yeah. It's always, you know, it's really nice, especially as a lyricist, where you're like, cool, I've done my job.
Yeah, awesome. You mentioned before that you've been sitting on these tracks for a while. This was recorded almost 12 months ago. Does that mean that you guys have already got new tracks ready to go as soon as this EP comes out as well?
Yes. We absolutely have. We tried to not write anything, and it got the better of us. I think there's a new song that's even more left of field than what we've usually done. I would dare say it's even more Dance Gavin Dancy than TMS. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So, like you said there, you guys are not frightened to write tracks that are vastly different to each other. So, is it just what you're in the mood for at that time? Like when you sit down to work on a riff or work on lyrics, is it just what I'm feeling at that time goes into that track?
Yeah. There's been a few where it'll be written, it'll be shown to one of us, like I'll write something or Liam will write something, and it's brought to the table with, hey, I don't think this actually is a song for us. And it'll either sit there and be used, or it won't be, but then it'll be brought back later, because we'll be like, oh, I really like that riff you did like 2 years ago. What was that? And it'll be brought back, and we're like, okay, let's make it up. I want to do that one.
With that much experience and that talent of being able to write so many different genres of music, do you see yourself at some stage writing tracks for other artists that are in completely different genres?
We've already, two of us have already like been working on other projects with other people, not so much as like the writers, but where we add our 2 cents in. So it's already starting to, move out to taste more in full other genres that we might not touch on or we don't touch on enough, to kind of fill that void and what we love as eclectic music listeners.
Now, mate, of course, the EP is out this Friday. What then for the band? What do you guys got planned for the rest of this year?
We've got a sneaky EP launch coming up, and we're looking at some interstate shows to try and get to other places outside of Brizzy.
That must be pretty exciting, being able to head interstate, especially after the events of the last couple of years. How's that making you feel?
It's been a long time coming. We've had Sydney booked for the last 2 years, and we've had to push back 5 attempts at going there.
And are you aware at how well received your tracks have been? I mean, our show is largely in Melbourne, but our show goes right around the world on different radio platforms, and people are loving your music right around the world. Are you aware of that support coming from overseas and from interstate now?
We were aware that Melbourne was hyping it a bit, but overseas not so much. That's actually really awesome.
Awesome. Well, mate, I have to ask, the interstate travel, does that mean that we might see you in Melbourne at some stage this year?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Either this year or early next year. I'll come say hi.
Awesome. Well, mate, we are going to play a triple play of your singles at the moment, of course, starting with There's No I in Quarantine. But we're going to play all 3 of the tracks that have been released so far from this EP. So what would you like to say to all of our listeners out there before they listen to these tracks and before they go out and grab the EP on Friday?
Thank you very much for giving it a spin before it'll come out. We truly appreciate all the support, and we hope to see you at a show. Come say hi.
Awesome.